Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is book recommendations based on my name. I specifically got this from Tori from Novel Life. I know she didn't come up with it, somebody else did, but I can't remember who she got it from. I saw on hers that, this is fun, I like it, and put that on my list. And today is when it is time to film it. So I'm really excited about it. It is not so specific as most of my recommendation videos, so I got to play with it a little bit more, and that was fun. Okay, so my name is Heather, Heather, so we're just doing the first name. First book for H is Hefty by Jessa Kane. This is a high school romance, is over-the-top novella, is two people who have been mutually pining for each other and not realizing it. He is a big burly linebacker and has a lot of insecurities associated with his weight and just thinks that she's not gonna be interested in him because she's a cheerleader and, a cute, perky blonde, just that kind of stereotype, if you will. And he just thinks that she's not gonna have a thing for him. Now, she is his sister's best friend, and the sister knows that her best friend loves her brother, but she's completely unaware that her brother returns the affection. So there's no sort of conflict with the sibling. The sibling's totally on board. There are some over-the-top scenes. It's smutty, it's short, it's Jessa Kane, but it was also incredibly sweet, and I did love seeing him get his confidence eventually, and I really enjoyed reading about a hero who didn't have six-pack abs. I feel like we as readers don't always need that. There are more ways to be attractive than to have six-pack abs, and honestly, it sounds horribly uncomfortable to cuddle with, so there's that. I was really happy to read a plus-sized, a bigger guy hero. For E, I have Eternal Hunter, which is Night Watch #1 by Cynthia Eden. When I tell you, I can't remember much about this book. It's a paranormal vampire romance with a single mom. I remember loving their relationship. I can't remember a whole lot about it. I know it's like romantic suspense paranormal, like there's people trying to get her and she's like under his protection and all sorts of things, and she's his mate and she's a single mom. I think she has a little girl, and it was like really cute. Can I remember anything else? No. Did I really need a book that started with an E? Yes. Did I absolutely rate this super high? Yeah, I did. I remember liking it. I have recommended it before. I would kind of like to go back and read another book in the series, but it's a good paranormal book, so... And it was single parent, and I remember being like so in the mood for single parent when I found it, and it really did meet my requirements. It was what I wanted. For A, I have Ante Up, which is High Stakes #1 by Christina C. Jones. Christina C. Jones writes incredible, witty banter, cute meet cutes. Her characters, her dialogue, they feel like real people. I enjoy her books so much. She often writes rom-coms, but this one is a little bit grittier, a little bit darker. Definitely has some content warnings for domestic abuse, and that might be the main one. Oh, there's definitely, and also like suicide of a loved one, loss of a loved one, miscarriage of a side character. So those are the content warnings, but it's not really graphic on page or anything like that. So basically she is kind of at the end of her rope. She has saved so much money to get into this poker tournament, and her no good brother, hello, I actually hate this trope when like the sibling is just like the worst and they're constantly ruining their sibling's life and the sibling is bailing them out anyways. No, but that is what this one is, but it's handled well. So anyways, she has this one night stand with like the owner of the casino, has no idea that it's the owner of the casino, and then sees him again when she's waitressing, and they have like some sparks going, like some violent sparks. And her brother messes up, costs her the money for her poker game, and then he ends up like giving it to her, and like not giving it to her, sponsoring her from the casino. And it's black love. You have a very rich, powerful man and his family. Also, he's broken. And you have just like this woman who's hyper independent because of trauma, but so incredibly smart. And there's like this cat and mouse game between them, and he's very protective once he finally gets in his head that like he adores her. And it's just so good. It's Christina C. Jones, all the things that I normally love from her, but with a darker set up, and I did really, really enjoy it. Also, the communication is really good. There was a specific plot point where I was like, oh no, we're gonna hide this thing for the entire book. No, it gets fixed like the next page. Like, they communicate about it, and I really enjoyed that aspect. I have Taste a Vampire Quickie by Nikki Clarke. This is obviously for the tea. This is a novella, vampire black love. Not rom-com, but like there's like funny things in there. There's a lot of history, a lot of smut, and a very short book. It's like 80 pages. I love this. I read this back in December. I have been recommending it ever since. I feel like nobody listens to me. Everybody that reads it, I feel like they didn't get the recommendation from me, but it's okay. I love this novella. If you want a vampire novella, this is amazing. If you want a black love novella, this is amazing. I really enjoyed it, like, a lot. I thought it was a very unique take on vampires, very interesting twists and spins to it, and I really loved the couple. And if you want a hero who adores the heroine with everything in him, this is it. Like, he was so magnificent. I loved him. And also, like, the heroine was fantastic too. Like, she was not the source of the conflict or anything, and I really enjoyed them. I would totally reread this, 100%. Then for my other H, I have Hot as Hades by Alisha Rai. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling that I really enjoyed. It is the literal gods, it's the deities, which is always fun because a lot of times the retellings kind of take that part out. But they are deities, and I liked how she twisted the mythology and made Persephone a woman of color, a goddess of color, if you will, and like kind of her explanation for that. And I loved their attraction. It was steamy, it was smutty. She literally falls in his lap, and that's how they meet. And I liked the twist on the other gods. I really liked everything that she did with this, honestly. It's a novella, again, not super long. If you like Hades and Persephone retelling, I thought that this one was honestly top-notch. For my other E, I have Enchanted by Gail, Carson, Levine. This is a young adult book, and it is a Cinderella retelling. When I was a child, an 11-year-old, reading this book, I literally read this book like 3 times before I realized that it was a Cinderella retelling. Because like her name is Ella and the princess name is Char instead of like Prince Charming, and there's 3 balls, and honestly it's very obvious, but I didn't get it. Okay, I didn't get it as a kid. I literally read it 3 times before realizing this is Cinderella. It's so good. There's ogres in here. I would actually love to reread this. So when we were picking out baby names, I really wanted, if we had a girl, which our 3rd child and final child is a girl, but I really wanted to name her Ella from Ella Enchanted, and I wanted to name her either first or middle name Valancy from the Blue Castle, and my husband was like, no. I was like, why? These are like my favorite books. And he was like, no, we're not doing that. Which arguably had extended a lot of his names too, so like it's not like he was just the tyrant. But if I'd had my way, my daughter would either be named Ella Valancy or Valancy Ella. But that didn't work out for me, so loved this book. The movie is trash. The book, amazing. I would love to reread it. I also really enjoyed The Two Princesses of Bamar by the same author. And again, these are young adult. They are not adult romances, but they definitely have a romantic theme, especially at Ella Enchanted, because it's literally Cinderella and the prince, and I loved the twist that she did on this. Like, when I tell you I read this book 5 times in the space of like 3 years, and it is my favorite book for years, it was. This was my childhood. Lastly, for my R, I have Reaper's Property, which is Reaper's MC #1 by Joanna Wylde. This was the first ever motorcycle club romance that I read. I adored it. The guy's road name is Horse, which honestly was hard to overcome. It was like difficult. Like, you gotta scream horse in bed? I don't think so. But it was so good. So basically you have this main character who doesn't really know much about motorcycle clubs, and she meets these guys through her brother, who again is no good. Trash. But so she meets Horse, and she like really falls for him, and he asks her to be his old lady, and she does not understand the significance of this. It's literally the motorcycle club equivalent to marriage, and it's like a big deal. It offers you a lot of protection and respect depending on the club and kind of their morals and guidelines, but generally speaking, it offers you a lot of respect and protection. And she was like, no, like, what are you talking about? No, get away from me. Just didn't understand the context, and he didn't explain, and she didn't really give him a chance to explain. She was kind of offended, and he's like, I'm literally offering you the world on a platter. So after she turns him down, her brother ends up owing the motorcycle club like $50,000. And so either she can be a club girl, which is not the word, or horse offers to pay the debt, but she will be just his. And he does, and she does, and he's like, you're not my old lady, like, you had that chance, you're just mine. And it's them falling in love from there. Basically a captive captor type situation. She really isn't there of her own free will, but she also doesn't have a choice because she doesn't want her brother to literally die. And I'm like, let him die. I'm not like the most compassionate person sometimes. I'm just like, if you brought this on yourself and you refuse to own up to that, like, why should I pay the price for you? No. Choke and die. Which I would literally never do that for my own sister, but also my sister would never put me in that position, and that's part of why we have the relationship that we do. So it's just interesting. Yeah, it's them falling in love, and it's great. It very much launched my love for motorcycle club romances. I still think that the series is gold. I read the whole series and loved it. It's great. That's it. H-E-A-T-H-E-R. Those are all the letters on my names. A different recommendation for each and every one. They're all from very wildly different genres, subgenres of romance, if you will. And I recommend them all. So if you've read any, let me know. If you're going to pick up any, let me know. If you're like, this is a book that starts with the letter of your name that you should read, also tell me that. Feel free. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.